Welcome to Skate Punctuation. There's a few things the game doesn't immediately explain that you might want to know how to do right from the start when it's out September 16th. Stuff like a deeper bag of tricks, new tech, advanced grinds. I'll show you what's possible. I'm basing this all off the default classic controls preset, starting with how to spin your character around faster than normal by using the Prewind. This is done by holding the start of any trick input on the right stick, but then over on the left stick you pull it down and then slide it to the left or right side to wind your shoulders for a faster spin. Then flick out the trick input and this built-up energy will rotate the skater faster, like being able to whip around satisfying 360s on just flat ground. Without the Prewind, you'll only have the time to do a 180 on flat. I can demo this one. This is because 180s, you don't really need to wind up your shoulders before you pop to spin it around. But 360s, starting a twist of your shoulders before is almost required to get around fast enough. Once you get the Prewind technique down, that's how you're going to start spinning fast enough to pull 900s like that one dude, or beyond that if you find a way to get enough speed with a chonky launcher. Using the Prewind for quicker spins is an easy way to immediately start boosting your score counts and expand into more technical trick combinations. Which takes us into spinning without popping, which is done by rotating the left analog stick in either half circles for a 180 or continuous rotations to keep skidding around. You don't even leave the ground for this one. This counts as a trick though in Skate, so it can be used as a flourish to keep your line multiplier active. This revert pivot can also be done during a manual to spin around into essentially the awkward to hold reverse of the manual you were just in. If you're a tech skater, this is a nice looking one to have on lock. Last for the spin section, a 90-degree spin without leaving the ground will kick you into a Powerslide. If you're going fast enough, just pull down on the left analog stick to turn and screech on your wheels sideways. There are frontside and backside Powerslides, and to do either on purpose, you slightly press to one of the sides diagonal down before you pull back on the left stick. Powerslides can be used as a way to speed check and slow down, or to style out how you carve transition. Next, grinding yourself on things. Rephrase, getting better at grinds. Instead of having to grind pop out like you're in THPS, there's a more subtle way you can shift around into different grind combinations without having to risk popping back out of the trick. During a grind or slide, just start rotating around the right analog stick in quarter, half, or full circles without accidentally flicking the trick. These quick feet little grind combos are a personal favorite go-to of mine when I'm in that 80+ attempts kind of mood. Now let's analyze weight distribution as I throttle myself into this wall. Spleen transplant. During a grind or slide, you can hold the left analog stick to the right or left to shift your weight, seamlessly and safely popping you out of the grind. Or you can briefly hold the left stick to the side, then flick a trick to pull yourself out in that intended direction, here avoiding that ominous spleen wall. Instead of leaning away from the ledge though, you can hold the left stick towards the ledge to pop up and ride on it. I like to use this to go straight from grinds into manuals, which lets you use the top of obstacles in a slightly different way. Good for combos, good for creating smooth sequences. Once you get the hang of weight distribution, you'll then be able to purposely aim where you land your grinds. Next, really getting into the weeds of skateboarding, there's slappies as well. When you see a curb on the side of the road or a really low ledge, if you simply ride into it at about a 45-degree angle, you'll bash your board up into automatically starting a grind or slide. A slappy specifically doesn't use an ollie or jumping at all, you just use momentum of the collision to slam your board up into the curb. No complies can be done by pushing with your front foot while ollieing. So tap A on Xbox or X on PlayStation, then immediately flick out an ollie on the right stick. A no comply takes your front foot off the board and uses the pressure that applies to your back foot to scoop the board around traditionally in a 180. You can continue spinning these after the 180 though, and there's also a frontside and backside variation of the no comply. Hold the left stick briefly either to the left or right before you do a no comply to influence if it's frontside or backside. This is a unique way to get into grinds and slides, or if you have a little extra airtime, you can start chaining in late tricks out of no complies. Late tricks are essentially a flip trick done after you hit the peak of an air, instead of starting the trick as you pop off the ground. You can do any of the flip tricks late, just by inputting their flick motion while in the air after an ollie or after any other trick. like 360 flip, late 360 flip, not to be confused with a held 360 flip. Held flip tricks are where you continue to hold down the final flick direction on the right stick to keep them continuously spinning. If you really feel like cranking up the circus meter, you can do late tricks during front or back flips, giving you pretty much an upside down version of a flip trick, somehow. Bob did it. I'm not sure if the average human is even aware that Wallies are a thing, but the devs thought of Wallies here for the skaters. A Wallie is kind of like an Ollie, except for you purposely smash your board into the side of an object to deflect the board upward off of it. To do a Wallie, it's quite simple. You just need a medium to low height obstacle and Ollie into it much later than you normally would. Essentially be running into the side of the thing while Ollieing. This technique can be used in some situations to get up and over higher stuff, or get up onto taller ledges. Yes, other humans, even 90-degree vertical surfaces are seen as ramps to skaters. Another nice attention to the skater details is that you can firecracker down stairs. This is where instead of jumping the stairs, you put maximum weight to your back foot to quickly clack your tail down each individual stair. To firecracker, just hold a manual as you approach stairs, and if you're going not too fast but not too slow, you'll firecracker down it and hear that clack of your tail hitting each step. This can be used to slow your descent downstairs to hit maybe another obstacle after it, or you can throw tricks into firecracker if you land in a manual on the stairs. Hippie jumps can be done by pressing A and X at the same time on Xbox, or X and square on PlayStation. This will jump your character into the air while your board stays rolling on the ground. This is traditionally used to have your board travel underneath something while you go over it, ideally then embracing each other back at the same coordinates in time. During a hippie jump, you can spin your character around with the left stick while you're in the air, or hold the left or right triggers to start flipping yourself off. You can even hippie jump out of grinds, which is kinda sketchy and unpredictable because if your board hits something while separated from you and flips over, you won't then land right back on it. Which takes us into 1-foot ollies, which removes either your front foot in the air for a Ollie North or your back foot for a Ollie South. While in the air, just hold A or X on Xbox, X or square PlayStation. These can be done after flip tricks as well, or even out of grinds, however you choose to work them in. Hold on a sec, I gotta break down this pants jiggle physics to sock ratio right here. I don't think I've ever seen this before, but the baggy part of your jeans at the bottom actually gets scrumped up according to gravity to reveal your socks. Has anyone seen this detail before? I haven't. Well, anyways, next is a caveman, which is done while on foot. You run, jump, and throw your board under your feet before you hit the ground. To do this, be off of your board, jump, and then press Y or triangle to do a caveman. This has an important, somewhat special use though, letting you absorb normally impossible impacts and build immense speed by doing so. If you're up real high, you can jump and use the glide mechanic on the right bumper to line yourself up to a steep downward slope to then caveman into it to start booking it like an overstaffed library. When skate is out for everybody, I want to see some of your guys' most impressive, idiotically ridiculous, or meticulously realistic clips you can possibly put together, so tag me with those clips at BoomstickAlex on X or Instagram. Maybe I'll make like a community montage of all the best ones in the future or something, I don't know. Save the raw file, I might ask for it. Also, in this early build that I'm playing here, dark slides and impossibles are not in there yet, but they are coming, so maybe stick around, I'll likely do a video on how to do those soon after launch. So if you want to see more guides for skate, maybe subscribe. Different combinations of the left and right triggers plus directions on the right stick will do all kinds of grabs, but you can also do one-footed or no-footed variations of most all of those. While holding a grab, you can press either A or X on Xbox, X or square PlayStation to take off one foot, or press B or circle with certain grabs to do no-foots combinations. If you hold forward or backward on the left stick while doing any grab, you'll start getting into front flips and back flips. However, you can also kind of corkscrew or barrel roll these flips by holding the left stick up or down, then rotating it to the left or right during the flip. This will essentially do a flip plus a 180. Cool way to modify your flips, but they are a little bit riskier since you can land sideways and die. Another use of the one-footed grab is that if you input them right before you touch the ground, you'll do a foot plant. This uses the foot that's off of the board to step on the ground or obstacle to propel yourself up off of it. Or instead of landing back into grinds like normal, put some shoe to ledge to create some unusual old school meets new school tech. If you jump at a wall at an angle like you would to do a wall ride, you can input a foot plant to kick off the wall instead. Bonelesses and their variations can be done by holding one of the two grab inputs on the ground while pressing either A or X on Xbox, X or square on PlayStation. Just like the foot plant input, but you're doing these off of the ground. You can bring this into grind sequences, use it to start off a weird manual trick, or spring off a wall with your foot that you're currently wall riding. Lip tricks, a guide to intimacy. No, lip tricks are when you roll up a transition and instead of airing off of it, you grind or stall at the top coping. To do a trick at the lip, just hold it down on the left stick as you're approaching the top of the ramp. This will slow you down just enough to flow right into a grind. To do a lip trick after an air, just press forward on the left stick as soon as you get into the air, then you'll land back on the coping instead of into the ramp. Riding to the top of a transition with coping, then pressing right bumper will do a hand plant. This uses your hand to momentarily hold yourself upside down at the top of the ramp. And with that one, I think I've broken down a lot, but maybe not all of the depth the devs baked into this trick system. But before I close this out, two important things. One, I'm curious what everyone's skate experience is. Did you play EA Skate 1, 2, and or 3? Do you skate in the real world, or are you brand new to all this, just looking for a new online sandbox? Let me know. And second, I'm actually working on a full-length skateboard video with some of my buddies. I'm actually directing it, editing it, and skating. So maybe stick around on the channel if you're interested. It should post in the next month or two when I'm done with it. Okay, Skate Period is out September 16th as a free-to-play title on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Worth a download from what I've played. Alright, thanks for checking this out today. I'm Alex, and hope to see you in the next one.